Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. In this video is to bring you a closer look at the Hager number 1447 ball catch in a US3 finish. The 1447 is an incredibly common piece of equipment that you're going to find on residential doors. Whether it be in your home, maybe you've got a pair of French doors in a dining room that you just want to close and secure, or maybe it's a bedroom where you have a pair of doors. Maybe it's a pair of closet doors, for your towels and whatnot. A linen closet is what I'm trying to say. So here's what a 1447 looks like. This is the US3 finish, polished brass. And really what you're only going to see is just that trim. And you're only going to see that trim primarily because they're installed in the top of the door usually, as if you were on a ladder. You're not going to see it. What you will see, however, is the strike plate. Now, it wouldn't be unusual to install these in the standard locked position, but generally they're installed at the header, and the finish really comes in because you will see the strike plate. Okay. This is made of zinc, which means that it'll be inexpensive, that it will be dense, heavy, it's non-ferrous, and it will afford a good finish, meaning that looks nice for polished brass, right? Now, there is a link below this video to the installation instructions. And the installation instructions, and the link to the installation instructions is overwhelming. It's just a ball catch. But let's go over it. And first of all, the 1447 is adjustable. You get like what would be a spanner wrench into those two little notches that are there, and you'll be able to rotate that counterclockwise to adjust via the spring the projection of the ball, and you can obviously see why it's called the ball catch, so that you can decrease or increase the amount of force it takes to open and close the door. Installation instructions. Choose the height at which to mount the hardware and mark an X on the door edge. Make sure X is in the center of the door edge before moving on. What that means is double check it. Because you have an 1 3/4 inch thick door, doesn't mean if you put a caliper on the door, it's going to measure 1 3/4 inch. And in fact, it never will. It's most likely less, it's most likely a good noticeable amount less, meaning determine the actual thickness of the door, the real thickness, go to the center. If you're going to go, 1 3/4 inch, if you go 7/8 over and mark your X, you may not be in the center of the door. Step 2, drill a 15/16 of an inch hole, 1 1/4 inch deep, where the X was marked on the door edge or the top rail. The OD of that faceplate is basically an inch. 15/16 hole is going to allow you to get that into place. What I would do when I tap these in, and it's not going to come out because of this item here, I'd get a wood block and a mallet, and I would carefully tap that down or tap it in. Tap catch in the hole until the lip sits flush on the door edge. I was reading their mind. Use a wood block to strike against in order to protect the ball catch. Line up the strike on the frame so that its center line matches the center line of the ball catch. That's where the center line is really important. Make sure the curved lip faces out. Use the formula below to determine where the strike should be placed. Okay, so the formula below tells us under the notes, you see the Y dimension. The Y dimension is referencing the face, it's referencing the stop, the face of the stop to the center line of the screw holes. The center line of the screw holes is the center line of the dimple for the ball catch, is the center line for the ball itself. Y is half of the door thickness plus 1/8 of an inch. So the 1/8 of an inch is from when the door is in the closed position, there's a dimension of 1/8 of an inch from the face of the door to the face of the stop. That's what they're accounting for. The gap between the door and frame should be at least 1/8 of an inch. That's the 1/8 of an inch. Step 3 under notes, if mounting on top style of door and frame head, place center line of catch 2.5 inch from the lock edge of the door over. So what they're saying is, a pair of doors, most likely, from the top of the door, from the side of the door, go at least 2.5 inch over. You can go more. I guess you can go less, but I wouldn't go less. more or less will depend on the construction of your door. You might kick it over a little bit further, but generally from the edge of the door to the center line is 2.5 inch. So 2.5 over, 2.5 over, you'll have 2 strikes. Once you have those positions marked for the screws, drill and chisel out the area to fit the strike in. The strike itself, they have it at a 1/16 of an inch thick. My caliper's telling me it's less, 0.051, 0.051. You know, ideally you would mortise this. You know, I wouldn't surface mount it. It's really too thick for that. You're going to have to mortise for the underside of the head of the screws, and the screws are, by the way, included. Okay. Okay, so the formula below. Step 5, mark outline of the strike and the center of the screw holes with a pen. Never use a pen. Use a pencil. Mortise this area on the frame a 1/16 of an inch deep or until strike fits flush. See the frame prep picture below for more details on properly prepping the frame for a flush fit. Drill your pilot holes a 1/16 of an inch, 1 inch deep for the screws. I would say that you'd need more than a 1/16 of an inch. Your pre-drill should be about 85% of the root diameter of the screw itself. I think a 1/16 is too small. You don't want to split the frame. Attach your strike. Using the slots on the face of the ball catch housing, rotate the catch clockwise to decrease the projection or counterclockwise to back it out. That's it. That's how you do it. You're most likely going to just replace one that failed, and you're going to say, how do I get the darn thing out of there? Any way you can is the bottom line. I've had people get in there and unthread that as best they can. They try to yank that body out. Be careful when you're doing that because you don't want your tool to hit the face of the door. You don't want to hurt your hands or ovalize the prep at all, otherwise this isn't going to fit right. They're not meant to come out, is the bottom line. Unfortunately, that's the case. But that sleeve is not a permanent fixture to this. So be mindful of getting the old one out. That's probably what you need to do. Now the 1447 is available in many different finishes, and they're quasi finishes, but they're quite compatible. Meaning this is polished brass, but it's not true polished brass in the sense that it's not made of brass. It's made of zinc with a plating. But nonetheless, here we go. US 10A for an antique bronze, US 10R for a lacquered antique bronze, US 15 for satin nickel, and I'm looking at them on a screen, US 15A for antique nickel, 26 for polished chrome, 26D for satin chrome, US 3 for polished brass, US 4 for satin brass, US 9 for antique brass. Or pardon me, US 5. Forgive me, US 5. US 9 is polished bronze. US 5 is satin brass. And that's how this works. Finally, there's a link below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Hager products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. Any questions on the Hager? This is their part number 1447 in a US3 polished brass finish or any other Hager product. Please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.